What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll likely sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Huge shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused. NeuroGum is a supplement that they've got gum and mints. It helps with energy and focus. It's got a little bit of caffeine, L-theanine, and vitamins B12 and B6. Like I said, helps with energy and focus. I really like to chew it all the time. Whenever I'm driving around, showing houses, working with my clients, on my way to the gym while I'm working out, sometimes when I'm training jujitsu, it just helps me, just gives me a little bit of boost. I really like the feeling L-theanine gives me as a supplement. And I get out, try some NeuroGum.
Also, on behalf of Captain Beard Co., I would like to say thank you for sponsoring the show as well. Producer Murph here. Of course, I am one part of Captain Beard Co., the men's grooming company located here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're tired of shopping for products that otherwise you can't understand what's on the label, they have too many ingredients, they leave you feeling greasy or oily or have residue on your skin, clothes, or beard, well, you'll get none of that with us. Our products are simply made by hand. You can understand everything that's on the label. If you can't, we will explain it to you. Whether you want a beard butter, a beard balm, a beard oil, a nice comb, or even a tobacco vanilla scented candle, bling bling, we have everything you could want and more. So if you're tired of buying from the big box stores, you're tired of buying products you can't understand, and you just want something simple and handmade that works and works well, give us a shout at Captain Beard Co.
And in the famous words of Ricky Bobby, if you don't buy Captain Beard Co., fuck you.
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we need to get a candle for the table. What do you think?
We do.
Yeah,
God,
We
this
do.
stuff smells so freaking
it does.
good.
It smells awesome.
Bro, and so here's the thing, I am so incredibly biased towards that scent.
Which
But,
one, the tobacco vanilla?
Yeah, yes, and it's for the most hood rat reason possible, because if anyone, God forbid, in our audience smokes blunts and ever rolled up, well, there's this thing known as a backwood White Russian cream, and it smells like tobacco vanilla. It's a leaf. It's not like a swisher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, look at that. I smell like one of my favorite rolls. But the what is it? Oh fuck, I can't think of it. It's in the white label. Coastal Drift. That is smacktastic. It is next level shit, bro.
Is that the other scent? Or one of
It's
the
the
other
white
scents?
one. So we have mahogany teakwood, comes in the
Red.
reddish, mahogany-ish color. It's really good. It's very unique. Then we got the tobacco vanilla, which to me is it's still the clear-cut favorite, but Coastal Drift, it's so unique. I like it a lot. I'm wearing it every day right now. And I rarely use our butters or balms. I really am just oil, wash. But I'll throw the butter on and I'm like, great choice for the day. Great choice. So that's something that I'm encouraging everyone to give a try at least once.
Yeah, I love the wash. I use it, pretty much every day in the shower. Just wash my face and beard with it. I feel like it's helped with dry skin and stuff a lot.
You have the body wash?
I just have the face and beard wash.
All right, we'll make sure to get you some.
Sweet.
All right, dude.
Hopefully.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friends at New Tonic for keeping us energized and focused.
Let's make the play for that.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Research-backed ingredients boost cognitive function and zero sugar. It is the world's first productivity drink. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Neutronics.
Chris, we love your podcast.
Newtonic.
New Tonic.
Newtonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Chris
you're trying to
Wil-
get
yeah.
sponsored, you can't really mispronounce the name, dog.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, Chris
Shit.
Williamson of the Modern Wisdom podcast. It's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. This is his drink. It's sold out 3 or 4 times now.
It's really good.
They just restocked yesterday, so it's sold out before I've been able to buy it every time. So glad I finally got some. So I bought a couple cases and figured it'd be good for us to drink while we sit and talk. Make us smarter,
Yeah.
The smell.
Conversations are going to be so much better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I go downstairs and Gina's like, so is it did it help? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I feel good.
I feel good.
I
No,
felt
for real.
clear-minded.
I do feel clear-minded. It's great.
I think it's worth mentioning, though, I did finish Ghost energy drink on the way over here.
Yeah.
So,
I've
but this
had-
isn't making me spaz out.
No. It's only got 120 milligrams. So it's, we're used to drinking energy drinks that have, 200 plus. So,
Remember back in the days where you would only crank ones at 300? You drink a fucking Rain or what's
Bang.
that? Or Bang.
Mm.
Yeah.
Both of them, just dude. At the end of it, like that's when I had to start like saying, no, 200 is enough for energy drink. 300 is too much.
I know. I love those Black Rifle 300s. I got one of those downstairs.
I think that's as coffee though. I think that's a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not drinking super creatine from Bang Energy,
Super creatine. That was always my favorite.
bro. You know they got sued for that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because it's like, what? How is creatine monohydrate super?
When
How do you
you're
make it super?
when your CEO runs around like a Willy Wonka douchebag for multiple years on end, and you're clearly selling someone a farcical product, which don't get me wrong, some Bang flavors were good.
Oh, they were great.
I also had really bad taste. I would drink birthday cake, which was a very bad investment.
I like the birthday cake one.
You're the only other person I've
I
ever
like
met.
that one. I like the. I love the black cherry vanilla.
That was
I
alright.
think with the other ones I used
I
to
never
drink.
got into Bang.
Oh, bro,
Good for
I used to-
you.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
never-
I mean,
tried it.
I really
They
envy-
blew up
envy-
real quick, and
Then they went to shit.
yeah.
I've been a fucking energy drink fiend for like.
I didn't become one until I started working at First Form.
Me and Gina were talking about it. Where like I think it all started for me when with you guys remember Amp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out like around one of the Matrix movies, and I
Mhm.
remember I think
Oh,
I was like
fuck.
in 7th or 8th grade, and I remember like
Yeah.
going in. We went into like the 7-Eleven there on Telegraph, and I was like, "Oh, can I please have one? I see it on the commercial. I want to try it." You know, and then
Yeah.
like I remember that was my first energy drink, and then like I think once I started driving and was able to like stop at gas stations and shit, and like I
Once
used to just always buy energy drinks. And
once
then,
Monster came around, like the marketing was so
Mhm.
geared towards like millennial fucking teenagers.
Yeah,
That's all
dude.
I had was that was my
Monster.
first one.
I remember I
Monster.
drank 3 in one day just to be cool, and I was laying there that night. I'm like, why do I feel like such garbage?
why can't I sleep?
Yeah. Well, I
That's
didn't.
the
Well,
thing. We would just do Monster vodka shots.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was college.
Monster vodka shots.
Oh,
What were
yeah.
what's the Vegas bombs? Because that's got Monster
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
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 I guess it does.
Yeah,
And
we would-
Crown and peach schnapps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Monster.
Well,
We
we
used
had
to-
a buddy of mine that I played with. Rest in peace, Nolan. He passed away from brain cancer, but that was his go-to thing.
Yeah.
Monster vodka. So anytime all the baseball guys get back together in remembrance of Nolan, we're chugging Monster vodkas. We hate each other. We hate everything after like next
Yeah.
day, but boy, we're having fun when
I
we're
mean,
doing
you,
it.
you could split one big energy drink like that between like 2 or 3 drinks and like still be equitable with like how you're going to feel the next day. But you start pushing it like, yeah, I chugged 3 Monsters and 2/5 of vodka. Yeah, you're no.
Yeah, we're buying the ones with the screw off tops.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're basically
no.
shooting vodkas, chugging Monster.
I love those screw off tops, like the noise that they make, the poof, like when you pop them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome.
So
But it's a book review episode, guys. So we didn't really talk about it much this past month. So apologize. So no one read the book with us, but
that's all right.
we're going to talk to you about it anyway.
Yeah. There's
because
a recommendation
because I was a little behind on reading this one. So.
Yeah. Same. A lot of life happened in the last, month and a half. So
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we did finish it.
Yeah, no, I
And-
just finished it this morning actually. So
same.
it's a really good book. It's the 5 a.m. Club by
Robin Sharma.
Yeah. This was recommended to us by a former guest, Adam Marburger. It's one of his when he has his coaching clients read. It's like one of the required readings, and it was I really enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
liked it a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not your typical like self-help or like,
And that's what I liked about
but
it.
it's
Because it's
got
a
an actual
story. It's a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And but it's like the story of these. I mean, I can kind of break it down, but it kind of starts with these people who don't know each other. They're all going to some conference. And it was like at least this is how I saw it in my head when I was reading it, was it was like kind of like a Tony Robbins type
same.
seminar, where people are going there to kind of learn stuff. But anyway, these 3 people kind of meet each other, and how they were labeled as the entrepreneur. It's this woman who's, a workaholic and,
owns her business
owns
that
her-
they're trying to run her out of.
Yep, exactly. And then there's the artist who's, he's a artist, he's got,
He's a good artist, but his creativity's lacking.
Yes.
And he's never really reached his full potential. And then
the third guy that they bring up is the homeless guy who ends
Ends
up
up
being
the
the billionaire, and so this guy, they go to this conference, and the guy who's up on the stage passes out in the middle
called
of
the
his
Spellbinder.
the spellbinder. Yeah. he passes out in the middle of the seminar.
And they thought he all died.
Yeah, everybody thought he died, and then these three, the homeless guy, the entrepreneur, and the artist, all basically hang out and talk, and they're all basically listening to the homeless guy, and they soon find out that there's not, this guy isn't just a crazy homeless guy. He's he's got all these teachings, and he's got all this stuff that he seems to know, and basically invites the artist and the entrepreneur to his island, and to teach them the ways, basically. And we come to find out that it's the 5 a.m. club is one of the reasons why he's so successful. And then the rest of the book is, the artist and the entrepreneur kind of going through his teachings on the island, and and learning, kind of what the way he does the things that he does.
Love story mixed in.
Yeah, and then the entrepreneur and the entrepreneur fall in love and get married.
Okay.
And
It's all a scam.
Ruined that for you guys.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
Run away.
No, but it was really
good. I enjoyed it because
I
it was definitely a different read than some of the other books. It's stories, which, one of the
easier
things,
to read.
Yeah. One of the ones I want to talk to you about for next one, which is also a lot of stories, is like Jocko Willink's, like Discipline Equals Freedom.
Yes, I've read that. Yeah.
I've
listened to that one, actually.
Yeah. I think that's what one of his books we should do.
Yeah, I'd love
like
that.
Dichotomy of Leadership or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one I've read. Dichotomy.
But, Discipline Equals Freedom's his latest one that came out a few years ago. But he does a lot of storytelling in that from his time served. But this is just a fictional work of art. It was great. I mean, because it's a unique way to go through the concepts of the 5 a.m. club. Now, honestly, if you're just looking for the concepts, you can skim through, and you don't want to read this love story, you can skim through and pick out and get to these. I mean, highlights all the points of it. You can easily skim through and get to the points that you're just wanting to learn and read through it, but it puts a different perspective on it, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, it really goes into details on a lot of things, but really the kind of what the 5 a.m. club is basically, waking up at 5 a.m. and spending that first hour of your day really investing in yourself, and it kind of bases off the 20-20-20 principle, which is, 20 minutes of that first hour has supposed to be movement. The second 20 minutes is
reflection. So journaling, meditating, praying, finding your inner peace.
Journaling.
Yeah, journaling. And then the third 20 minutes is growing. So learning, reviewing your goals, read a book, anything. Just listen to podcasts, listen to us.
Yeah.
Great time to pick up and listen to 20 minutes of us every morning.
Yeah.
To get your day started. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just a great way to kind of get you prepared for the day. And there's just something about, I started doing it, gradually working to 5 a.m.
Yeah. I actually got up at 5 a.m. today.
Yeah. I was at 5:30 today. So, but yeah, I mean, there's just something about the morning and getting your day started off heading in the right direction. So,
no, and this is, I really have not gotten back to this ever since Calvin's been born, and he's 2 in a couple months now. So it's been a couple years since I've been on before he was born, I was on such a solid morning routine. And really what it boils down to is me just being fucking lazy and not wanting to wake up. And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to not do that anymore. I'm going to start just waking up at 5 a.m. because he usually doesn't get up till, 6:30 or 7. So I just need to just wake up earlier and spend that first hour of my day really investing in myself. Because, man, even these last couple days, like just trying to cram this in this book, it's like really got me kind of back. I feel like I got a little bit of momentum going again, And like today I woke up, I did my 20 minutes of reading this. I really only got I did 20 minutes of this, and then I did a 10-minute meditation. Then I went out the door to 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu class. But, so I feel like I got all 3 principles. It wasn't exactly 20 minutes of each. It was, an hour and 10 minutes of movement.
Right.
But, and I got I got my reading in, and then, I got a little meditation in too. So, but those were things that I was used to do. Man, I used to wake up and like, I had like everything down, like dialed in, like wake up. I made my coffee. I read my 10 pages. I did my 10 minutes of meditation. I journaled my page, and then I would take Cooper for a walk. And that was like my every morning I was doing that like a religion for a while, man. when I was doing it, I just felt so good. And it was kind of when I was, getting the real estate business kind of up and, it was still when I was still relatively new in it. And I was just felt like it really dialed me in, and I love the way it made me feel. So I want to get back to doing that. And, yeah, so it's definitely something I'm going to do. So I want you guys to hold me accountable to that.
Absolutely. Same. Because I was doing it at night, and, I'm a big component of having your alone time to yourself. Like I've always thought I've always needed that alone time. And it's gotten to the point now where things have been so busy for me. I get to the end of the day and I'm just done. Like I just want to just lay down, relax, and just call it a day. And I was skipping some of this stuff and things that I was doing and just doing it at the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day. So now when I wake up in the morning, I've got a fresh perspective and the energy to do it. And so now I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm up in the morning doing this. And I mean, it just get the day started off on the right foot.
Just sets the tone for the day, man.
Right.
And there's just something about that. Like I always, at least when I was doing it before, I always had some sort of like gratitude portion, or at least that's what I always wrote down in the journal. I always wrote 3 things I was thankful for, that day. And I just feel like doing that stuff and just the constant reminder of, being thankful and being, of all the things that we have going, like I got a lot to be thankful for. I got a healthy family. I've got a successful business. I get to do this podcast with you guys. Right. I got a lot of shit that I have that I should be thankful for. And I need to, remember that. And just cause I just take it for granted, man. If I look at if I went back 10 years ago and looked at myself when I was 21 years old, I would be so pumped at how my life is now, and I just need to I just take it for granted because it's just the life I live now. But man, if I would look back on my, 21-year-old Zach, I would have I'd be pretty proud of myself on where I'm at now. Now I'm nowhere near where I want to be. There's a lot of shit I want to do and shit I want to do and be. But from what we've done so far, I think I've done a decent job. So I want to keep going. Yeah. And just being thankful for what I've got is something I need to just spend more time doing.
Well, I just think it pushes us now to we always talk about wanting to continue to grow and be better than we were the day before, which, there's a lot of things that were talked about in this book that we also picked up from Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm. Lots of them.
He constantly mentions getting 1% better every day, which basic principle, that's the basis of Atomic Habits. I think it does a great job of diving into the psychology of why this works, and why it's good to go at it this way. And it's something that really triggered in my mind why I need to make the switch from doing it at night to doing it in the morning. But ultimately, I mean, it's a great way. If you're doing this and you're doing it correctly, you're going to grow and get better every day.
100%.
Because
you can't not.
Yeah, you can't not.
Like I said, even just having these handful of days, these last couple of days where I've been kind of cramming this because I didn't read it all month. Oh man, I miss this stuff. And it's crazy because it's nothing. There's nothing I heard in this book that I read in this book that I had not heard. Right. A lot of these self-help type books, a lot of it's very similar stuff. It's a lot of stuff that, you've heard any successful guy talk, I don't care if it's Andy Frisella or if it's Tony Robbins, if it's a lot of these guys, these uber successful people, they all kind of preach very, very similar
things,
very similar things. I mean, they've all got their own kind of spin on it, but if you were to boil it down, it's okay. Well, get up early, do your, do the things that you need to do, better yourself, spend time, exercise, eat well, spend time bettering yourself, be thankful, meditate, journal. There's all these things that all these people do. And I mean, there's a reason that they are where they are, and that all these people, you see these repeating patterns of he's doing this too.
Right.
There's something to that.
And I think the reason that this one might stick with us a little bit more is because of the story that's told with it. I mean, a lot of the other ones just come straight at you, like facts and information, like all that, which is great. But when you put a story to it and you put a spin to it, it makes you feel it more. Mm-hmm. It brings out an emotion. Like when I'm reading some of these other stuff, there's not really an emotion to it, and I think maybe that's why they tied in the romantic side of it, because it's pulling in that feeling, and you can evolve with these characters to make basically so you can see how you're going to evolve. And I thought it was great. It might be one of my, it's probably my top 10 or top 5 favorite books that I've read.
It's up there for me as well.
And and Adam, thank you very much for recommending this book. Like, well done, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. And for, even like last night, like I probably listened to like 5 or 6 hours because I'm going to admit I didn't read it. I did I did the audio book because I basically crammed the whole thing in 3 days. But even last night I was like, I had my headphones in and I was just doing shit around the house and normally it was like our time where Gina and I kind of hang out and I was like, honey, I got to get this. We were doing a podcast on this book tomorrow and I'm still got like 5 hours to listen. I'm still 5 hours behind. I need to get something in. But I was like actually really, really like into it, because of the story,
right.
Exactly.
And it's like, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah. I was like, what are they doing next? Like where's the next trip? They're in Rome now.
Right.
Like, oh shit. Okay, cool. And
how are we going to tie this into to what we're trying to learn from this book?
Exactly. And I think if it was just a, not a story, I wouldn't have been so into it, because man, I used to, when I was younger, man, I used to read a lot more fiction. Like I never read fiction anymore. And this kind of reminded me like, oh man, like I miss, books where there's a story and maybe I should start reading some more fiction or, maybe we do an autobiography or something like that. Right. I think would be cool.
Yeah.
I personally, since, I'm on 75 hard and I'm, a very big disciple of Andy.
Yeah.
I've been in his presence for a long time. It's always been one of the things I've kind of like not liked about 75 hard is that fiction is not an option because you can take a lot of practical lessons away from fiction. And it's like, okay, so maybe you want to read fiction and maybe it's not necessarily personal development, but maybe it teaches you something on like a socioeconomic context, or it teaches you a lesson about history, like 1984 and Animal Farm and Brave New World, like for the world that we're moving into right now, hopefully moving away from. The idea that like, okay, you as single people, as individuals, what happens when the government usurps too much power from you, watches everything you do? Okay, well, that's not a true story, but it's meant to take historical context and apply it into a fun to listen to plot, or just at least thought-provoking. So I, again, also, creative writing major over here, a literature minor over here, dumb as fuck. I recommend people still listen to fiction and still read fiction, and not even just like the dystopian stuff that I brought up, but like look at the classic American and English canons of literature. They're really good books. The things that like build society. Like if we're going to talk about like masculinity and entrepreneurship and winning at life, and maybe talking about like The Great Gatsby is a great book to read. And not only just because of the fact that the story is so good, but it's like, look at what happens when you make this much money at this point in time. Extrapolate that to now. So that's my little weigh in on fiction. I think fiction definitely still has a great place.
No, I totally agree.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was playing pro ball, you don't have to be smart to play baseball at all. And it is very easy to get into baseball, only focus on baseball, and just come out dumber because all you're thinking about is playing a sport. And like I said, honestly, baseball in my opinion, is a is better for not very smart people, because the smart people tend to overthink things. And in baseball, that's the last thing you need to do. But for me, I was reading 30, 40 books a season. Like I was crushing books. On my Kindle, and that's what I was doing. I was just pulling up my Kindle app to go back and look. like, these are all books that I read while I was playing. So like one of my favorites was Vince Flynn. Mm-hmm. He had the, what's the guy's, he had a character CIA type book. And then same thing with, like David Baldacci, like those, like, they were great. I really enjoyed them, and I could crush. They were
Tom Clancy.
Yeah. I was able to go through and read. Stuart Woods is another good one.
Jack Carr.
Yeah. And was able to go through and read a lot of these things and read a lot of these books. And it was like, even though they weren't, self-help or anything like that, but I still felt sharp. Like I still meant I was actually giving my brain, like I was actually functioning and not just focused on baseball.
You need to be able, I think that's why when you listen or when you read like David Goggins or Jocko, you get to put yourself in the theater of the mind of one of these people who you have qualities that you would like to take from them. You'd like to decipher, like, bro, if I had the discipline of a Navy SEAL, if I had the physical conditioning of a Navy SEAL, if I went through all the hard shit that David Goggins went through, there's that ability to transport you in another world. Because like, there's some really great books out there that are just too fucking dry and academic that like, it pulls me out of it. Like, okay, I'll admit this, like, because I don't necessarily participate in the book club, but I read a lot of the same books. I read like 20 pages of Atomic Habits. I fucking hated it.
Really?
Yeah, just it's a great book. It really is.
And it's not saying it's not useful,
right? What it teaches you, but it was. I mean, it was a tough read to get through.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Tim Grover's books. Like they're great books.
I have no problem getting through Tim Grover.
But no, that's the thing is like, it's just like he mixes in the stories, but when he's just going on and on about some of the stuff, it's like, I want to hear more of the stories.
I'm reading Winning right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when you get to hear those stories, especially of Kobe, because such a big part of it is in memoriam to him since he just had passed away. You know, the cult of personality around those guys, specifically Kobe and MJ, it's just like, of course we want to know how they lived their lives. We want to know all the stuff that like we've never been shown because we want to get that dog in us. We want to know what it's like to really be a cleaner. And it's like, I've also, you know, exchanged some words with Tim Grover. So like, when it's really rough and scratchy voice starts talking and you have to be a winner, like it just works for me. It just works for me.
It's like Batman.
Yeah. Tim's rocking around with the cape cowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but man, I just, and I think there's something to, and I mean, either like you said it a little bit ago, but like there's something to the act of reading, I think, and like there's just you feel sharper, I think, versus like whether you're reading fiction or nonfiction. I think that there's something that reading does to your brain, where it just, I think it helps things form better, makes sentences form better. Like, I don't know. There's something to
like speaking about 75 Hard, I mean, that's why it's one of those requirements that you have to read and you can't listen to audiobooks, you know?
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, you're using your brain to read it and comprehend it. You know, it's much more work than just sitting there listening to it. And I'll be honest, we talked about it before the last show. Listening to audiobooks or like driving or doing something, like I'm zoned out. Like I'm not really paying attention. It's just kind of background noise.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not really taking anything from it. So I mean, I forget which book it was, but started a podcast or started an audiobook on it. And I got maybe 5 minutes into it. I'm like, I need to re-listen to this. What the hell?
I didn't retain anything.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, how the hell did I just get where am I? Like I just zoned out while I was driving and I'm like, huh.
And I think like if you're going to listen to something, it has to be engaging too. Cause I think a lot of the things we try to listen to on audiobooks, a lot of times, like when you read them from off like a physical page, it's like, oh, well, I'm not really that invested. Like I like learning about economics, but like I try listening to fucking, what's his name? Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics. Dry as fuck.
Yeah.
It's just dry as fuck. Talking about prices. I try listening to The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. It's dry as fuck. I don't want to hear people reporting to me numbers. I have to have something that really intrigues me. It doesn't mean that I won't learn, but it's like I do better going to a 10-minute YouTube video, just having pictures and having it just fun fed to me.
Right. I mean, it's like for me in college, like sitting in a lecture, trying to take notes and all that stuff. No, I mean, I had to go and read the books.
I'd rather read the books myself and just show up to test day, honestly.
Yeah, we just had a test bank, so. That was the best part about
part of being in a fraternity. What test? What class? 101, 103, we got you.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm sure there was some athletes that were able to do that in some of the majors that they were doing, but I'm
just kidding. I studied a little bit.
I didn't.
I was in finance, so I had to because there was no other baseball players.
Finance 380 was like the crazy one that I remember everybody bitching about that one.
I picked English so I wouldn't have to take hard science or hard math. The hardest science class I think I took was kinesiology. It was not hard. And I think I got away with like the lowest form of math like 160, I think was the hardest I had to take.
Yeah, I had to take college algebra and that was it.
I don't even think I had to take that. I was able to take like one below that.
But I remember people like, oh, wait, like that was like the one that was really hard for people to pass.
Yeah.
Well, so I went into college and I took a bunch of college credits in high school. So that was great. Math was one of those, which was pre-calc and then calc. So I didn't have to take any math classes. And well, obviously I took finance, which is basic math. but I didn't have to take any math classes in college. If I wouldn't have decided at one point to be a math teacher, which was a thought of mine.
Really?
Yeah. I love math. And so I declared my major as teaching and with an emphasis in math. And I had to take every calculus class. And at that point, I'm like, well, shit, why don't I just become an engineer? Because
Yeah.
it's the same stuff. And then
Make more money.
so I hadn't taken a math class since my senior year of high school, and it was the second semester of my sophomore year. Was the first, so I got
so it was like a 2-year break.
and I'm getting thrown into calculus 2, which is like the hardest calculus there is. And we started off for the first month was just a recap of calculus 1, and I was just like, yeah, fuck this, I'm not being a math teacher.
No way.
I couldn't do it.
No, it was terrible. I was like, it was a foreign language. He's up there rattling stuff off, and it was one of those everyday classes, so Monday through Friday. Yeah, it was.
I don't think
awful.
I ever had any of those.
That was the only one I had, and I think after the first month we were taking quizzes every week, and I hadn't gotten more than a 30% on any of the quizzes. So I'm like, this isn't going to work. I'm not even going to be eligible to play baseball.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what's important right now, and so I ended up dropping it. I'm like, talking to my advisors and my parents and some friends. I'm like, what can I do that's just math but basic? And they're like, business, finance, accounting, those things. I'm like, accounting seems kind of boring. Finance seems kind of sexy. Let's go finance.
Yeah, finance. That's money, right?
Yeah.
I'll do that one.
Math and money.
I do feel
let's do that.
I feel like though, if you did do accounting though, like that's such a good broad math and finance blend that like you can do anything with it.
What we were taught in school was like you have to have both accounting and finance to get your finance degree. As a finance major, I had to be able to interpretate the accounting that's done. Mm-hmm. So I had to know accounting and how these things are calculated, but then I had to basically translate them into, hey, how can we make more money from these numbers that were being given? So yeah, I thought finance was a little bit more than accounting. And actually, when I was coming out with everything going on in the financial crisis that we were in, finance degrees were like hot commodity. So I'm like, cool. I'm glad I picked that.
Yeah. I mean, anything that's STEM like that, you're definitely going to stand out in a job market of liberal arts majors. And as your resident liberal arts major, like, yeah, you're definitely more valuable than I am. I can read. Bitch, no one cares.
Not anymore. This shit doesn't matter.
No.
You know?
I think like if you're going to work for a company though, and you can show that you are good with numbers, I think that's definitely more valuable than someone who read fucking Shakespeare. That's just me. I mean, I can write very well. I should have been a comms major. I should have majored in communication.
One of my best friends is like the regional manager for a financial company, overseeing an entire region and their advisors. And he has his communications degree.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
One of Biden's cabinet, who's like the head of economics, he was a theater major. He couldn't even explain to you why inflation happens. We're fucked, by the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm just I've never had to really, I mean, I did it very, very briefly when I left the barbecue place and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. I the first time I ever went and applied for jobs and shit. And I almost worked for this logistics company for
That's what my dad did.
I almost went there. I mean, because I had a buddy that was working there, and it's like, oh, it seems like a fun place to work. They got like a they got a foosball table, ping pong table. Like, they can wear jeans to work. It seems like a chill place, you know? And, but man, I mean, I went through the whole interview process and I got the job, and then I ended up just turning it down. But for those people, I know that there's a ton of people out there that have gone through a million different fucking interviews and shit like that. God, that shit's so stressful.
I will be honest. I have never been interviewed for a job.
I mean, that's the only real interview I've ever had. I had a couple for restaurants, but that's you just kind of show up and the guy asks you a couple questions, and the fact that I can talk, talk some, I could
Yeah.
talk good,
Yeah.
like, oh, you have all your teeth and
Yeah.
you can speak and you can,
people can understand you.
Yeah. You look like you've held a door open for somebody before,
Yeah.
like, like, oh, you don't have tattoos on your face or,
Yeah.
and, yeah, you're hired.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like in high school, I did catering, which a friend of mine was in charge of the hiring, and they called me like, "Hey, we need people. You want to work?" I'm like, "Sure." And then we'll just keep putting you on the schedule. And then the other one was a heating and cooling company, which was my neighbor's company, and he just basically asked because he needed people to work during the summer. I said, "Sure." And then out of college, right into pro ball. You don't interview for, unless my 4 years of playing time in college was basically, that's my interview. I mean, you're filling out questionnaires for them, like psychological questionnaires and taking psychological tests to make sure you're psychologically ready for that. But that was it. And then you don't sit down and you might have some conversations with teams, but they're not really interviews. You're just having a conversation with them. And then straight out of pro ball into this. And yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had to interview, and I think about that. And people, I've had people close to me talk about how they're going in for an interview. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I've never.
Sounds like it sucks.
Yeah. Sounds awful.
Hope you get it.
Good luck. Don't be your typical self. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate in that fact that haven't had to go through that process, because it sounds
like stressful.
Fucking stressful.
Oh God. Like I had the one at I was just sitting here thinking like, man, I've worked at a lot of places, I've worked at probably like 10 different restaurants, whether it was pizza. I worked at, several different Emos locations here in town, probably like 3 or 4 of them. Or at least I worked at Webster. I guess, no, just Webster and Oakville. Never mind. I've only worked at 2 different Emos places. I worked at, maybe not. Worked at a catering banquet center, worked at a couple different barbecue restaurants, worked at part-time at a couple bars, like bar backing and stuff, done a little bit of bartending, waited a lot of tables, worked in 4 different kitchens, or more than that. Worked in a lot. I've had a lot of shit, but mostly it's been restaurants, and it's kind of, if you worked in one of them, the fact that you have restaurant experience is huge, like especially if you come from like working in a busy restaurant, like that's right. Even, like coming from Sugar Fire where they were doing, $100,000 a week in sales, like that's fucking crazy. Right. People don't, restaurants don't typically do that. No. Like all the other ones I'd worked at were doing like 20 and 30 a month or a week. And, then I went into Sugar Fire and shit. Yeah. Like
Sugar Fire is good food. Service is typically pretty good. The marketing is really good.
Marketing's incredible. I mean, and it's an expensive food, like go, get barbecue for lunch and, you're spending $30 all day
for yourself,
just for yourself. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty standard. Yeah. It's, maybe back when I was in it, this is 10 years ago, it was probably more like 20. Right. I used to say, good luck, try to go there and not spend $20. It's hard, right. Like that. But now it's probably more like 30.
There's a space right by my house that's half barbecue joint, half gun range.
Oh yeah.
I want to
try Shooters. It's good.
Great. It's actually really good.
I've never gone.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. There's
pleasantly surprised.
There's an insurance agent through this networking group that I'm a part of, and we hold a home buyers seminar there every year and have them do the food, and it is really good.
But the thing that like always like kind of trips me out is like right behind it, there's that South Side Pawn and Jewelry.
They're all connected. Yeah, my buddy works there.
And then there's those little apartments, and there's this like big open lot. And I'm like, yo, if I had to guess where I could buy hard drugs or get shot, it's those little apartments right there.
Yeah, for sure.
My house is like the line of like where St. Louis stops being the county and starts to be the city. It's that little spot on Gravois and then River de Pere. Once you cross River de Pere, all bets are off. But then you turn left, go down the St. Louis Hills. It's okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
But then like you stay there on Gravois, and it's sketchy all the way till you get to about Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
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 Your little St. Louis.
I always say you want to be on the west side of Gravois.
Directions. I mean, I always know it's north to get to the city.
The side that is not the side the river's on. So basically, if you're driving toward the city, it'd be you want to be on the left side. Yeah, that's definitely the better side. If you go to the right, that's where things get real sketchy.
people underestimate the county because people joke like, oh, it's just the east side and the north side. No, the south side's still sketchy.
Yeah.
Like you go to the state streets and you don't know where you're at. Like,
there's, Dutch towns, places like that.
You're liable to get your shit kicked in. But,
but yeah, I mean, going back to what you're talking about with interviewing, the problem with not having been through the interview process and now like trying to grow this team and trying to interview people. I just sit down and have conversations.
That's
with
all.
them,
That's all. That's all it really should be.
And just sit down and talk to them, and like my business partner be like, "Well, how'd it go? How'd the interview go?" I'm like, we talked about all sorts of shit.
Yeah. He played hockey in high school.
Yeah. We know a lot of the same people. Well, what's his background? I'm like, he played hockey in high school.
Yeah.
He's an athlete. Yeah. No. Yeah. We just talked about it. We just bullshitted for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
He's like, Pat, what the hell? I'm like, maybe you should sit down with him.
Yeah. Well, maybe you just give me a list of questions you want me to ask.
Yeah.
him.
What do you want me to ask?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always funny when it's like, trying to bring new loan officers on the team to see if they'll work or see if they'll fit or see how their business is doing, and just sitting down and just shooting the shit, talking about all sorts of stuff, and really not even talking about their history or what they do or what they can bring to the table.
Right. Well, especially in the the kind of business we're in, where it's real estate and you're talking to a lot of people, you kind of pretty quick,
right?
If someone's gonna if someone's kind of got what it. I mean, and I'm sure you could. There's some surprises out there for sure, but you can tell pretty quickly like who you think will have a knack for this.
Yeah.
Especially like who's going to be in being in like a sales role where you're totally eat what you kill kind of thing.
Like, are you part of the 5 a.m. club?
Yeah,
no,
that's the new thing. Yeah,
I'm not interested.
Yeah, be a card holding member of the 5 a.m. club for 2 months and can come talk to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is like the waking, like as long as you're getting this stuff done, like I think waking up early and getting it done before the craziness starts. I mean, my phone starts going, like I wake up and still have emails at 5 a.m.
Yep.
But it's I think it's they're automated emails, so it's like I'm having to deal with people right then and there. So it gives you that peace and quiet. But I mean, ultimately, if you're getting your day started and you're doing these things, depending on no matter what time you wake up and all that, like I still think as long as you're implementing these things, you can still be successful. I just think it's a great way to get your day started and doing it at a time where there's peace and quiet. It just gives you the atmosphere to be able to knock this stuff out efficiently and effectively. I think that's what makes it best to do it bright and early in the morning.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I don't have to worry about my kids waking up.
Yep.
It's
the only time of the house. It's only,
yeah.
From, when they go to bed to when they wake up is the only time of the house is quiet, so it's just a time to get it in. So
love you kids, but fuck. You're loud.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to highlight on the book? All right, guys. Well, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please click that subscribe button up there. Comment what you guys thought below. We will let you guys know soon what the book club will be for this month, so you guys can get it and get it read before.
Already a third of the way through.
We're a third of the way through the month, so we're a little bit behind. But we're gonna get back to doing the book club because I think it's good for both Pat and I. So
absolutely,
we want to keep doing it. So thanks a lot, guys. We will see you next time.